Hello, everybody. I am about to invite. About to invite Cindy to join us. Cindy. We have Cindy in the house about to accept. Oh, so good to have you guys. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Joe.
Hey,
So good to have you.
Alexandra. Good morning. How are you? I'm glad it worked.
We did it, Mama. How are you today, Cindy?
Very good. How are you?
It's always stressful, these technical things with Instagram.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. And my cortisol just went up now. Hello there, Nutrition Connection. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello. Let's wait for our friends to join. So we have some people from LOVJOY already, and some people who are curious, and some people who already know Cindy. Obviously, they're using your services. So, Cindy, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? What your specialty and your favorite subjects?
Sure, I'd love to. So I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I specialize in gut health. So everything digestion, bloating, IBS, constipation, too much gas, not enough stomach acid, too much stomach acid. And what I've started to attract were clients that were mostly female in their 40s and 50s. I'm going to be 50 this year. And I've noticed there's some trends, they're going through declining hormones or estrogen fluctuating. So perimenopause, right? Belly fat, they're having trouble sleeping, they're getting irritated with their husbands, their moods are, going a little bit unbalanced, and energy, they're really trying, they're really spread thin. At this age, we're caring for maybe our parents who need our help, and then we're caring for our husband, our kids, our work. And so I feel like this is an age where I can relate to very much. Also, for those who don't know, I lost my mom when she was 44 and I was 19. And I also lost one of my best friends when she turned 42. And so there's something about this 40s that really intrigued me, women in their 40s. And I now understand why, that because during this time, your sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone are starting to decline. And progesterone is a very anti-inflammatory hormone. It's a very calming hormone. So when that starts to decline, you could get issues like sleep or insomnia, or sleep issues, sleep disturbances, and also anxiety, and all of, having a hard time coping with stress. Your tolerance level is a little bit, a little bit less for stress. So yeah, so I started a program last year on gut health for perimenopause, and we worked on just losing the extra belly fat, boosting digestion, balancing hormones, and Alexandra joined that program.
Yes,
It was great.
because we only like 3 minutes into our lives, so we don't want people to miss out on this good information. So basically, Cindy, her background was in IT. She was in technology, and she was doing her office job 9 to 5. And then all these changes happening to her beloved ones, and so close to her, that she started to study more into what is happening in this age group and why. And she wanted to help people with nutrition holistically before medical intervention will happen. So both of them obviously is the ideal situation, because everybody's different and everybody needs different care. But that's where Cindy's love was coming from, why this is happening to my loved ones, and how can I do to help other people so that they don't have to have this dramatic, and so we're so grateful, Cindy, that you are focusing on this group of women, and because there's so much conflicting information, and there is so much in the internet that you don't really know what is anymore. We don't really know, is this false, is this false, is this true? And then you studied it, you went to McGill University, so you spent a good quality of time, you invested your time and your money to learn more into the subject. So we're very grateful for you, Cindy. Thank you for your time coming here. And so, yes, I was lucky to meet Cindy because I was going through my early 40s, some hormonal changes. And yes, COVID happened and it was very stressful, and baby happened. So I'm so happy I found Cindy into this program we were doing together. Yes, Montreal, that bootcamp business plan, right? So that was fun. So we immediately click. I immediately used her services, and I already felt difference in my my mood swings, my sleep, my energy. And then I joined your 8-week program, right? And that's when I realized how much love you pour into it, and how much care, and how much detail into explaining all the little details that we just don't even wouldn't even go there. And there were so many solutions in Mother Nature that I would know if I didn't have you, Cindy. So I'm fascinated by how Mother Nature can help women in this 40 plus age, and also I think is also for moms in the 30s, because you can start applying these things and don't wait until the last minute to things to go out of hand. If I knew these things earlier, I would probably feel way better sooner. So yes, should I share what I learned a little bit on the 8 weeks program? Should I go ahead? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So my favorite part, which I also was inspired to do later for LOVJOY mamas, was all these hydration tips to get electrolytes. So for me, water and protein, being a Pilates coach, are important to me. Yes, let's learn the stuff before we experience it.
Yes, 100%. We're in the front lines. I always like learning from people that are at the front line, because then I don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah, and
we're right there.
This applies for everybody, men and women. People don't realize that just drinking water is not enough. Drinking coffee, black tea, all the crazy frizzy drinks, it doesn't count into the good hydration. It doesn't count. There's sugar, there is all this stuff. So when we say stay hydrated, it's not just a glass of water. It's a glass of water with a bit of electrolytes, maybe a little juice of fresh lemon to to clean the liver. So that was my highlight, because I took for granted that just water is enough, but it's actually not enough if you're sweating and you're doing a lot of activities. And then the other stuff that I hooked and I can't stop thinking about, I put cacao everywhere. So that cinnamon, that cacao, that cayenne pepper. Tell us a little bit about this magic of this combination of things that Mother Nature has. Tell us a little more into that. That was my favorite as well. Tell me.
That was right. Yeah, that was actually in the core of the program. And I really find, because our metabolism could be a little bit slow due to lowered estrogen and more increased cortisol, and of course the stress. So the main concern was belly fat. Some of the women were just having trouble losing that stubborn fat. So I talked about thermogenic foods, like all the foods that raise your blood circulation, that heat up your body, like ginger, cinnamon, turmeric, cayenne, like you were saying, and we put it all into this elixir drink with apple cider vinegar. So we would start our day using that. And that's actually really good sugar regulation as well. Apple cider vinegar itself has acetic acid and also malic acid, and it's really good for your liver to kind of thin out the bile. So it's a really good detox, helps to regulate that insulin spike. So you don't want too much insulin spiking throughout the day. So like you were saying, those types of foods are good to kind of boost your metabolism and give you that energy. So we were kind of sprinkling it through our recipes too, right? Not just in that drink. Yeah.
I'm an addict. Cinnamon and cacao everywhere. If I can, I'm holding one cacao, one cinnamon, and I'm just like,
But honestly, for people who are worried about getting diabetes, or people who are a little bit higher in their blood sugar level, cinnamon is a wonderful blood regulating herb. So if you even take like half a teaspoon of cinnamon with some turmeric, if you like, put it into just water, or or any hot tea that you have, it'll help to regulate your blood sugar. So that's what we were working on, because when you prevent that insulin spike, you can also have more even energy. It'll help you sleep, and also it won't accumulate into your belly fat. So that was one of the main purposes.
And what else is perfect for belly fat? Sleep. Why is that?
Yes.
Why sleeping is
So, well, sleep will help you normalize your cortisol level. So, you know, when you don't get enough sleep, there's many, many benefits to sleep. One of the things is the detox, right? When you sleep, your whole body starts to cleanse itself out. When you don't get enough sleep, you notice your puffy eyes, you notice maybe your memory, you're more clumsy. Yes. So sleep is really good for that anti-inflammation, you know, for just like getting rid of inflammation in the body. But sleep also normalizes your cortisol. So if you don't have enough sleep, your cortisol can spike, and that cortisol spiking affects insulin response. So you've ever heard of the term insulin resistance?
yeah.
Have you heard of that term? So it's basically meaning that your cells don't respond that well to insulin. So when you eat something carby or sugary, normally your insulin will take that sugar and then open up the cells and put it in there. But if your cells are not responding to insulin, then that sugar is pretty high in your blood. The insulin will eventually then store it into your liver, so people can get fatty liver, or store it as belly fat. So the cortisol and insulin do have a link, a connection there. So that's why you want to lower your stress. You want to get plenty of sleep. Getting enough sleep also is good for your metabolism. It keeps that circadian rhythm going. That circadian rhythm also ties into how you metabolize the energy, your food. So, you know, that it all is connected. So yeah, if you have not enough sleep, you can get sluggish. Your metabolism can get
Yeah.
sluggish. Yeah.
What about all my mamas who have new babies and they cannot sleep and have a shut eye? What happens to them? Is this something that can recover later? They can recover, say, if they're only getting 2-3 hours sleep because they're breastfeeding in the night. Can they recover later after this
Yeah.
phase is over?
Yeah, definitely. You can recover later. I mean, it is just a transitional phase. I mean, it is tough for sure for the body. So maybe during the day, try to focus more on anti-inflammatory foods, curcumin, you know, drink lots of water, take your omega-3. Make sure that you are trying to reduce your stress level as best as you can with, you know, deep breathing, Pilates, moving.
This movement, of course.
Work on, I guess, work on the quality of sleep. Try to get, you know, naps in the
Yeah,
day.
deep sleep, quality sleep. And yeah, like you were saying in circadian rhythm, right now in the winter time, a lot of us hibernate and we don't want to go out, but how critical it is to help our brain go into sleep mode. If we don't, because the eyes are really connected to the brain directly, if we don't see the sunset colors, we don't see some sunlight, the brain doesn't know when is day and night because we always with screen lights, right? So the brain cannot regulate, they cannot understand, okay, now is nighttime so I can sleep. Same with babies. If we take them out for a walk and get some sunshine or some kind of over, you know, with the snow reflecting light is just enough, right? It's more light than inside the house, always, right? 100%, there's more light outside. So then register that in the brain, and then both baby and mom can get a good night's sleep when they have had some kind of natural light, not screen light, not inside light. I think that's critical as well for a good sleep. So tell us a little bit why that belly fat is just sugar. Where is sugar? Because where is sugar? It's not just in a donut, right?
Mm.
You educate us a little bit.
Well, it's really insulin is the main thing. That insulin, think of it as a storage hormone, and think of it. I always explain it like you get delivery to your house. Let's say you get pizza delivery. Let's say, okay.
Yeah.
So the doorbell rings, you open the door, the food comes in, and that's done.
That's
So the delivery man is like insulin. The delivery man is like insulin, and the pizza is like those sugar. It's coming to
yeah.
your, and the delivery man rings the bell. But let's say you hear that bell going off every 5 seconds, and you're like, I'm not opening that door. I'm tuning out. I'm not even going to bother. So that becomes insulin resistant. So that delivery man, what he does is he ends up plopping those pizza boxes right in front of your door. And that's the accumulation of the belly fat. So it's really the insulin. So what you're trying to do is stop that insulin response. You could cut out sugar, like really drastically reduce sugar. that will really help. Like even in your coffee and your tea, even when they say honey and maple syrup, they're better forms of sweeteners for sure because they have minerals. They have some health benefits. But when you're trying to lose belly fat, you even want to cut that out as well, or just try to minimize that. And then refined carbs, like the pastas, the breads, the rice, the white rice especially. And it's not to say that you don't eat any of it. It's just reducing the amount and reducing the frequency. Because we always, in the old days, I used to do this meal plan where it would be like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. And it's like, how many people are eating every 2 hours? And at this age, I'm noticing that if you want to regulate your insulin, you can cut out the snacks. You can even, do more intermittent fasting. So eat a little bit later, cut out the evening eating. After dinner, don't eat. Just have your calming tea. I love to have, this cup of calm. You can have like soup broth. Just don't try to like raise that insulin. Even if you eat meat, your insulin still kicks in. It's just not as strong. So
Wow.
the idea is to go through a phase where you really try to get that response back. So after a couple of weeks of cutting all of these sugar, alcohol is included in that, by the way, because it also is like a sugar. And so if you do it for a period of time, then all of a sudden that doorbell, when it rings, you're going to
Okay.
respond. So this is the reason.
So the pizza outside the door, somebody comes and take it away.
Yeah, liposuction? No, I don't think so. That's one way. Physical, evacuation of that. But I also think that this is a reason why some people could be having fat but feel tired. So imagine all the pizza boxes are outside your door, but you're not getting the food. Maybe pizza is not the best analogy, but let's say, whatever that is, your groceries, right? It's all piling outside. You're not getting it in the house. So this is why people will have cravings, even though they are gaining that weight, but they're not getting that nourishment. They're not getting nourished. So they're craving more of these foods. So when you're doing that type of cutting out sugar, cutting out alcohol and the refined carbs, it's really important to add more of the whole foods, like the
No,
broccoli, the fruits and vegetables.
sometimes you're thinking you want a snack, and I'm going back to my hydration. And in fact, you're just thirsty and you just need to gulp some water, and then you're not hungry anymore. Because in fact, your brain thinks you're hungry, but in fact, you're dehydrated. So this also is a mega factor for snacking. Think, okay, do I really want a snack or am I just thirsty? Because I realized a lot of the time it's not snacking, it's me being hydrated. My body is really needing that nourishment, that hydration. I feel it, like it's not so much the food. It's like I need to drink up.
Yes,
So,
it is true. And that's actually when you're more like aware, being more present with your body to recognize, is it really hunger or is it just thirst or could it be an emotional trigger? And we talked about that in the program, emotional eating.
yes.
When you're stressed, you may want to just grab something to kind of numb it or avoid that negative emotion. When you're lonely, you may just want to just keep eating like this. These are some triggers that happen.
Boredom as well. Yeah.
Boredom.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a question here. What a good time frame to aim for cutting sugar. Are there studies or guides to give an idea of how long it takes to regain an effective insulin response? That's a very good question.
Very good question.
I leave
Oh,
it to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, no, because your screen just paused for a minute
Sorry. Yes,
So I don't know of any studies specifically in terms of timing for every person. It may be different, but when you start to feel that you are able to like lose that belly fat, you could start to, notice that there's a change there and it's not piling up. So when you're eating and you're able to maintain your weight, for example, I would give it a good 21 days, right? Like a good 2 to 3
yes,
weeks
there you
of
go.
really.
There is my challenge. That's what it's for. After I was inspired by your 8 weeks program, I did like a little minimum 21 days of basically 3 weeks of daily Pilates. So you replace the fat with muscles, you increase your metabolism, you reduce the fat, and you become more thirsty and craving more nutritious food. Because when you start moving and you start taking care of yourself, and sweating and you're moving, you're like, I don't feel like lighting a cigarette, you know, I'm just like out of breath, I want to get better. I don't feel like downing a pizza when I working on my body and my physique, right? You want to eat broccoli, you want to eat a steak, you want to eat something healthy and full of protein. And I think, like you said, 3 weeks is just enough time not only to build a new habit, but to start seeing slightly more energetic and less belly fat. I like just a little. What do you think?
No, I think that's good. I also think when you do like want to test it out for your
Yeah.
body, if you're someone who has, let's say, a little bit of carbs and you're tired after, like you're finding it really affects you and your energy level, then you may be insulin resistance because that sugar is accumulating. So you could look into just cutting it out, like I said, for a period of time, and then have some back and notice how you feel. Do you feel energized with the food that you just consumed, or are you tired from it? Because that food should nourish you, should give you that energy. So that's just a way of testing it. There are supplements out there that can help as well. There are supplements like the B complex. I love the supplement here, the Synergy B. I'm not paid to talk about supplements. I'm just letting you know, like, I really like it because it has the full complex with a little bit of spirulina and inositol, which is really good also for detox. And inositol is really good for your ovaries. So when you're like stressed out, you want to nourish your ovaries, your reproductive system as well, so that your periods don't become, you know, crampy or heavy, because you want to normalize those hormones. So B complex is good to help with metabolizing carbs.
Mm.
And so it's something that I often recommend. Yeah. And also a bit of chromium, and which is also has that in like a lot of sugar regulation supplements.
Yes. And you know, you wanted to touch all the S's, right? So we touched sugar, sleep, and what's the other one you wanted to talk about?
Stress. We talked about stress and sex hormones.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit about that.
So I was thinking earlier when we talked about progesterone, you know, lowering, that's the sex hormone that is usually affecting women when you're going through perimenopause. And estrogen will spike and go down. It has an erratic pattern, but it also declines during perimenopause. So if you know, that will affect your libido, that will affect your energy in general. And then there's also testosterone. I mean, we all have testosterone as well, right? Men have more, but we also have that too. And women can also have lower testosterone as we continue on to menopause. So when these sex hormones decline, there is this overproduction or kind of overworking of the adrenals, because later on when you go through menopause and you stop making these sex hormones, your ovaries are the ones that make estrogen and progesterone. So once it's gone, then it's your adrenals that need to do that work. So you need to nourish your adrenals. And that's where oftentimes I take adaptogens. So ashwagandha, for example, is really good to help calm the body, calm the nervous system. I love having magnesium around. That's really good for stress and relaxing of the muscles. And also medicinal mushrooms is another one that I often recommend. I love this brand, Eversio Wellness. But I mean, you can see them all over the place now, like cordyceps and reishi, ginseng. You know, those are great herbs to give you energy, but in a calming way, like not with jitters, not like caffeine. Yes. So yeah, I mean, for testosterone boost, even for men, ginseng is wonderful. I prepared all this because I really wanted you to see the visuals of things that are available, you know, in grocery stores. Yeah.
I remember that you prescribed me ashwagandha and magnesium, and I already started sleeping better. The hot flashes disappeared, and my moods were stabilized, and I wasn't like anxious and crazy. And I think for me, ashwagandha worked right away. It was like within a week, I could see the change. And magnesium now, I take it permanently before I go to bed. It helps me sleep. I don't have any pain in my muscles because as a Pilates teacher, I can go teach every day, every hour. So I need something to help me with the muscles, and I don't have the pain I used to have.
That's wonderful.
The curcuma not only helps with regulating and detoxifying, and it works with the joints as well. I noticed, you know, when you reach your premenopause phase, your hips and your joints start to ache more, right? They start to be heavier, and I was having these symptoms and I was hating it. And then you're like, boom, curcuma, magnesium, ashwagandha, that three together before bed with my chamomile tea was like, I wake up fresh. Of course, if I did go to bed before 11, right? That was the key. Program was like, go to bed before 11. Between 9 and 11 is the best window. Don't miss that window. I remember you were really strong about this, and it really make a whole difference for sure.
Yes.
And
You know, good for you that you were able to do it. That was probably the hardest part of the challenge, is to have people try to get to bed earlier, before 11. But were you able, like even with children and with like all of the business running, how did you feel about that?
I had, so I tell you the huge difference when I sleep between, you know, the kids go to bed sometimes 8 o'clock if I'm lucky, but most of the time reading stories and everything, it goes up to 9. So I'm like, I don't have time for myself. So if I have managed to achieve what I wanted to do the daytime when they are at school, I go to bed not long after them. But sometimes I need these 2 hours to catch up with my husband, type some emails, have a tea, and then it's 11. And I know it because my eyelids just like go heavy. And I know that my body's telling me, okay, mama, time to sleep. But when I have work deadlines, like I had the craziest Black Friday ever in November, I pushed myself through past 11, 1, 2, 2 a.m. and I could feel I was deteriorating, like I would wake up grumpy. And
Mhm.
then my immunity just crashed. I catch all the bugs, my kids. I think I was sick for a whole month. I had 1 week in Christmas, between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, that I was healthy. But I couldn't believe how it affected my immunity, you know?
Yes.
It's like our phone needs to charge because the battery doesn't work anymore. It was like that. I was not charging while I was sleeping, very little charging time, and then systems down. It's incredible. I'm so sensitive if I don't sleep anymore, you know, and the same goes with alcohol and stuff like that. If I drink, it does affect me more than it used to when I was in my 30s. And that's the sugar, right? Is
Yeah.
that the sugar?
Yes, that's right. And it's inflammation too, and it is a burden on your liver to detox that. So think about having alcohol and not sleeping. That's like double whammy right there. You're really putting your body into overdrive to clean
Yeah.
to clean itself out. There's a question here. I struggle with cramps while on my. Oh, sorry, I can't read the full message. Maybe Alexandra, you can read the
Yes.
full message.
So I'm definitely going to bed, make an effort, get to sleep. Yes, good job, Mama Weller. Yes, magnesium before bed for better sleep. Also good those struggle with cramps. Well, yeah, on their period, yes. And to help prevent dips in breast milk supply. Yes, when during the menstrual phase. Thank you. Thank you, Nutrition Connection. She's our coach also on Lovejoy about breastfeeding and taking care of mamas in that fragile time during pregnancy and after that postpartum period with the breastfeeding madness. So thank you so much, Khalifa, for that insight. We love magnesium. I think so many people don't know how deficient they are with this mineral, right?
Yes,
And
mineral. Yeah.
there's so many different kinds. It's not just like one magnesium. They're like the different kinds that do different things. And I always get confused that which one does this and that. But the sleep one is the
Well, I use the magnesium bisglycinate. I find it's very gentle on the stomach,
yeah.
and this is the one that I like. But that format is easy to absorb as well. There's also this calm powder that I find is nice at night when you're talking about having a tea at night. Sometimes, I just mix that in with some hot water, but you let it fizz, and by fizzing, it actually becomes a little bit more bioavailable. It actually breaks down
Yeah.
so you can absorb it, and let it sit for a little bit before drinking. And this turns into magnesium citrate. But some people find it hard on their bowels. They'll have like loose stools, or maybe they'll have a reaction. But however, the good thing is some people actually like that effect, because then they can go for a bowel movement the next day. So it helps a little bit with constipation as well.
Yes, I like it. I like to get my magnesium at night. I wake up, have my event, and I'm done. So my evacuation event, I call it evacuating now. So I want to share a little story about my aunt from Greece who was visiting last summer. She's in that age group now. She's in her 50s. Actually, she turned 60. So she was in her late 50s when she came to see us. And so she's a survivor of kidney cancer. So they removed a kidney that was full. So she had been treated with this extra, how do you call it, the immunity treatment. Hello, there? Yeah, there you are. So she has this treatment. She didn't have radiotherapy or chemotherapy. She had the one that with the injections that help you increase your immunity. So she was lucky to have this new treatment, which was amazing. She's now in full recovery, but when she came to see me, she had a couple of days that she was overtired, overwhelmed. She couldn't sleep and she was aching all over. So I gave her, you just to remind me, I gave her that calm, magnesium calm. She didn't even know about it. I gave her that before bed. She was also bloated and constipated, you know, time change zone. So she had pain in her back. She was bloated, constipated, and she was groggy and grumpy and really in a bad mood. So here's my remedy. Everybody listen. So I gave her the calm water magnesium thing powder. She drank that. Then I put her in a hot bath with Epsom salts and lavender oil drops and also real lavender flowers I had. So that is really calming and pleasant. So it was a real treat for her. Then when she went to bed, I also gave her some curcuma tablets, turmeric capsules. She woke up, she was like, I don't know what you did, but this is the best. I'm gonna do that. So now when she has this little back pain and irritable mood, she soaks herself into Epsom salts, drinks magnesium, and she's always thinking about me. Oh, I love that lavender bath, and I felt so much lighter after, and I slept so well, and she was definitely debloated next morning as well. She was free. So sometimes, you know, this is the best remedy to combine the salts because they go straight into the skin, right?
Yeah, go into the bloodstream from
Yes,
the skin. Yeah.
in the salts, right?
Yeah, well, it's a mineral, and yeah, it's often in that
Yeah,
Epsom salt. It's the
yeah.
magnesium sulfite. Usually, that's the format. And yeah, you're right. Many people are very deprived of magnesium, and the reason is because they don't use that in the fertilizers when they commercial farming. You know, so the soil is depleted of magnesium. But mostly, if you go organic, if you reuse the compost properly, then the soil will be more rich. So it's unfortunate that now, as we get more commercialized with our food supply, there is less minerals in there, unfortunately. So that's why supplementation is so important. And I remember, you know, like there were some people that within our age group, like 50 plus, that did not want to take supplements. I remember seeing some of my clients, also some classes, because I used to teach at the West Island Women's Center, and they're like, I'm not, because it wasn't part of their tradition. You know, it was like growing up, they didn't see their parents doing it. But I find times have changed now. And that's why I really do believe in supplementation, especially as we're going through stressful times, changing times through perimenopause. So good for you that you helped out your aunt that way.
Yes, and thank you. Yes, she was very happy. And another thing about the hormones that are affected by our toxic environment. Do you want to talk about this? So this is a whole new, I know, it's like 2 more minutes squeezing in and then
Sure.
everything.
No, absolutely. It's so important to talk about hormone disruptors. And that was basically one of the main topics in the class is to look at your environment. And yeah, sorry, were you going to say something,
No, no,
Alexandra?
I want to know. I have to say, when I did your course, I throw away all my plastic Tupperware. There's no plastic to be found, and I replaced them with glass. And my mason jars, I use them now as a little storage, like Tupperware storage. I put my soup there. I put snacks there. So yeah, and Dollarama has these bowls, ceramic bowls with the lid on, so you don't need plastic. It's just yes. Go ahead, explain a little more.
Yeah. Oh, good for you. I mean, for sure, plastics, especially when you heat them with food in the microwave or you're transporting hot food in plastic, it could kind of leak into your food. Water bottles that are from plastic, oftentimes we don't have a choice when we're traveling. Sometimes we just need plastic water bottle from our travels at the airport and things like that. But when you can minimize as much as you can, minimize consuming any foods from plastic containers, that would help. But there's also your skin products, the lotions, sometimes that has hormone disruptors, even candles that have the word fragrance. Did you know that fragrance is just a label for many ingredients that's kind of proprietary to their brand? They won't put it out there, but they just kind of mask it with the word fragrance. So when you see the word fragrance, I personally prefer candles that use essential oils. Beeswax is great. It's more natural. And so, yeah, things that are scented like that could disrupt hormones. So it's really, there's so many different types of plastics too, right? Even the inner lining of the can, when you have canned beans or canned soups, a lot of them are made with BPA, which now you'll often see BPA-free cans. But those, plastics, they can mimic estrogens, and we often call them xenoestrogens, which is the synthetic version of, the normal estrogen. And what that happens later on is that you can get too much estrogen accumulated in your body. So, a lot of times when people have growths, like fibroid growths, ovarian cysts, a little bit of growths in their breasts, it could be due to too much estrogen. So that's how just removing that could be a great way to at least reduce the risk of having growths just from your environment, from the
Yeah, and even I remember I used to use the dryer sheets that smells nice to keep your clothes smell fresh. But in fact, now that I stopped using them and I use my cotton balls to keep them, not so crunchy, I realized the tiniest of smell, the toxic smell, makes me gag. I'm so now I can tell like a heavy perfume or when I go for a walk and somebody's having the dryer and I smell the seeds through the thing, I'm just gagging because I know that's like depleting my natural hormonal. I don't know how to explain.
balance. Yeah, balance, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, many people do have that effect. They do get headaches from these fragrances, from like you said, the dryer sheets, and even the liquid in there. Just people do have these types of response, migraines, or even like response on their skin, and they don't really connect it to perhaps that environment that they're
yeah,
surrounding themselves with.
and creams. The skin is like also the most sensitive to be disturbed by all this toxic stuff. Yeah, the makeup, nail polish, whatever, right? All these things is the environment.
Yeah, so actually, there's this website, just quickly, it's called EWG.org. It stands for Environmental Working Group. And when you go there, there's a database called Skin Deep. If you're curious to type in the brand and the type of like lotion that you're using, the shampoo, they have all kinds of lipsticks, they have like even sunscreens. You can put in, and they have like a rating scheme from green to red, where it shows the level of toxicities and carcinogens. So if it's got these toxins, you'll see it as like red or even orange. Orange is acceptable, but it'll detail out what are, at least the toxins that you can look out
Yeah.
for. And then you can look at what you can replace them with over time.
Amazing. I'm using in my 21 days Pilates challenge. In the protocol there, I have an app that is free actually. It's called Yuka. You can go with your phone, use the code to scan anything, skin products, hair products, from food. Sometimes I'm shocked with what I thought was healthy food for my kids, and I thought it was low sugar. I scan it and it says 33% out of 100. So it's like, if you can imagine the Oreo cookies, you scan it with this app, it says zero. There's zero nutrition. It's like the most evil cookies in the world is Oreo cookies. And it goes the same. You can scan shampoos, your hand cream, skin products and beauty products. And this is free. You can download it and it just gives you all the data you need. And yeah, guys, you need to download the app. Download LOVJOY app. Cindy is in there. She offers, is very generous. Let me check again. She offers a mega discount for your first one-on-one consultation with her. 20% off. We have a code called LOVJOY20, and she has an amazing ebook on gut health. I need to check that out myself. She gives us a 15% discount if you use the code LOVJOY15, and LOVJOY is LOVJOY. And also my 21 days, 3 weeks basically, Pilates Habit Challenge is just $21 for you to keep for life. And in there, I have Cindy's meal plans to keep you low sugar for busy moms, the one pot, right? One pot meals for 1 week.
I'll make it all simple in one pot. Less dishes.
One dish only to wash. And you have your Mediterranean week you're gonna try, and we have the anti-inflammatory meal planning again from Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. This is great value, guys. You get to know my teaching style. You get to do 15 minutes Pilates every day for 21 days, and I promise you, from day 1 to day 21, you'll see the progress. I give you tracking sheets to tick your amazing stats, and then Cindy's there. I'm there with the hydration video explanation with the electrolytes. I mean, this thing, $21 is ridiculous, guys. You need to jump on it. And Cindy, you want to talk about your waiting list for your 8 weeks?
Yes, actually, yeah. If anyone here needs some help with perimenopause and belly fat and digestion, I am going to run this program again in March. So if you want to go on the waiting list, just send me a message, send me a DM if you like, and I'll just give you more information about that. Well, we also have checklists in there, and we check off the things you do every day. And I'm starting a gamification platform, so it has points. It's a point system. So I find that really fun, you know, for people to be motivated to drink their water, their lemon water, to take their supplement, and to take, you know, exercise. So it'll all be counted in vitality points. So it'll be fun.
Love it. And I wanted to squeezing 5 minutes before we go. It's 10:45 more minutes. A breathing technique for your abs that everybody can do. It's going to be recorded. So basically, do you know where accumulate the fat here? As mamas, lower belly fat. I want to show you a very gentle, very straightforward breathing technique that you can do while you're doing the dishes, while you're reading, while you're typing an email. Okay, if you can multitask like that. Okay, so this is our normal posture. This is our abdominal wall. It's between our pubic bone and our ribs. You have to imagine you have a zipper there. And right now it's open because we're breathing and we're relaxing our belly. We just let the belly just be. And then as you inhale with your belly, when you exhale, you want to feel the zipper going all the way from your pubic bone up to your ribs. So it's not like, you know, inhale and suck in. It has to have that sensation of going up, down, and up. Okay, so this is already contracting your transverses, and then you inhale, release. So you're kind of hugging your belly with your muscles there. So you wake up your abdominal wall and you use that zipper metaphor. So let's go again. Inhale, let the belly just be in relaxed mode. Inhale with your belly, and then when you exhale, you want to exhale to bring the zipper all the way up to your ribs. And what's happening here, not only you're working your abdominal wall, also your deep pelvic floor muscles. So if you're having issues with incontinence, you'll see that right now your core is activated. And if you're doing abs, any ab load exercise contracting your abs, this is a great way to prepare the body before you do any ab work. So let's do 2 more. Inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, hug the belly. Inhale, relax. Exhale, zip all the way up, pubic bone to the ribs. And you don't want to stay here too long, but if you do, you need to engage your thoracic cage to breathe thoracically and do any loading up exercise after. So that's safe. And you can do it, like I said, when you're typing, when you're on the phone, when you're doing the dishes. So you are working your abs from the lower belly all the way up.
It's
Was that?
nice to get that deep breath in there.
Yes,
The
right?
belly breathing.
Exactly. It's not like sucking, you know, it's gradual, sequentially coming up, zipping up, closing the zipper all the way to the ribs. So this is great for diastasis, to after you just had a baby, or when you really want to work on that lower belly muscle and fat. So it just starts to get some movement, some blood flow in there.
But you could do
So
that when you're sitting down, right? You don't only need
yeah,
to stand up to do that.
no, you can do it sitting down. Yeah, exactly. As long as you do it gradually, okay? Not just like a sucking instant, you know, it has to be lower. So it's like, imagine you have an elevator from your pubic bone to your belly button, and you go first floor, second floor, third floor, fifth, and you squeeze and you stay there and you breathe next with your chest, and then you inhale to release the belly again. Because it's not recommended to keep that contracted core, you know, because then the muscles get tired and then they forget how it is to work, to function properly. So it's not recommended to walk around with sucking your belly and squeezing your pelvic floor constantly. I know when we stress, we kind of do that by accident, but it's not healthy at all. It actually damages the muscle quality. So yes, I leave you with this breathing technique, hug the belly. And any questions you guys have after, you can also put it in the comments. This video is going to be permanently in our profiles. And yes, download the app, download LOVJOY app. All the goodness is in there. Take care, guys. Thank you for staying till now.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Alexandra.
Cindy. So good to see you in a live chat. Thank you, Nutrition Connection, Mama Weller, and everyone who was interacting with us. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Boop.